Okay, welcome everybody to Craig, we're back. It's a new year. Happy 2023. We are ready to rock and roll here into the new year with Think with a Drink.
All excited to get going.
All excited to get going. This is the weekly webinar series brought to you by the Aries Foundation for Financial Education. And because we're at that time of the year, we're starting out the new year. We're going to talk about resolutions, right? So this is actually the top 3 resolutions that get made, but then a little deeper for us because we always want to go into a little bit about, what everything is and what it means. So, what does it say as to, making those resolutions? Why do we make resolutions? And then some of the ways that we can actually try to keep them for the first time, maybe this year, and make sure that they stay in place. So that's what the idea is for this, the topic of this week's show. Real quick, as we go through this, do have a little bit of checklist just so everybody knows we are recording. Just keep the mics muted. You don't have to worry about the cameras because we've got it set up. So it's just hopefully Craig and I in the box at this point. Speaking of boxes, there is a chat box. So if you do have any questions, you can always drop those into the chat box. My co-pilot, Greg, is here, so he will hopefully be able to man those. I know he's been keeping on pace. We've had a couple of presentations this week, and he's been flying away at trying to keep the keyboard going and answering those questions. But he's also here to keep me on pace as we go through everything. So speaking of your presenters, my name is Tom Alessi. I am the president of the Aries Foundation. I have been in financial services I am now in my 24th year. I'm an investment advisor. That means I act as a fiduciary whenever giving guidance or advice to any of my clients. I want to bring my vice president, Craig, if you can introduce yourself.
Sure. So I'm Craig Richardson. I'm the vice president of the Aries Foundation. I've been in financial services for over 19 years now, and I'm a financial services representative. And I specialize in working with families and individuals to help them to find their financial goals and have a better relationship with their money.
And Craig will be chiming in as we go along through this presentation. But like I said, he's also there if in case any questions get brought up or get asked. You can always just feel free to drop them into the chat box as we're going along and having fun here. So we told you that the Think with a Drink is brought to you by the Aries Foundation for Financial Education. It is a nonprofit dedicated entirely to the mission of trying to help everyone have a better relationship with their money. Because whether you realize it or not, you are in a relationship with your money. And just like every other personal relationship that you have, there are behaviors and triggers that cause us to act, a little irrationally sometimes when it comes to handling our money and our finances. Myself, Craig, the rest of the Aries team tries to do is try to help everybody get a little better handle on that, maybe step forward, take a little bit of the emotion out of the equation, answer the whys as to why you do some of the stuff you do, and try to help you be better prepared in handling your money and your finances going forward. All right, there's a lot of words on the screen. I'm not going to read them because Craig says I don't have to, as long as we show them. But just know we're a nonprofit. We do this for educational and informational reasons only. We share these recordings on our website. We share them on our YouTube channel. All we ask of anyone is that if you're ever going to share the information, you do so in an educational manner. However, if you do have questions and they are of a tax, legal, or financial matter, please seek the help of a financial professional, seek the help of a professional in answering those questions, tax, legal, or financial in terms of going through it. See, I tried to get away with that and I didn't. So that just happens every now and then. You're just going to slip up. Okay, now we come to the fun part of the evening now that I got through all of that. We called this Think with a Drink because we want to take some of that, whatever you want to call it, intimidating factor, I don't want to talk about this, the taboo nature of money and finances off the table. We want to make it more casual, more relaxed. And we can't think of a better way to do that than if we're all just sitting around having something nice and cold to sip on as we're doing this. So for tonight, I chose FESTBIER. This is from our friends at Newport Brewery down in Newport, Rhode Island. And just because it sounded fun, FESTBIER, it sounded fun. It is you think of American pale ales. This is kind of like a German pale lager. It's sort of, with brewing differences there, but that's sort of what comes with this. So German lagers, they're going to be more, crisp They're going to be more clear. You're going to have some of that, some of the pairings. We talk about food pairings all the time with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe grilled fish, grilled shrimp
Ah,
for this. Maybe some, certainly a salad with like a vinaigrette dressing, something that's going to be offset by the beer.
maybe some steamers.
I don't know about steamers. That might, again, it's the grilling part of it, but steamers could work probably. Yeah, that could be, it's certainly worth a try. I don't think it would really overwhelm the beer in terms of that. Some certain mild cheeses that would be good. And then of course, because it's a German lager, you could never go wrong with a pretzel. What are you drinking?
I'm going a little lighter. I'm actually having a vitamin water this evening.
Vitamin water. There's a guy who's got a resolution
I
going
got
on.
resolutions going.
A skull.
Skull.
Okay. It's got, it's an okay taste. It's like 5.9 ABV. It's got really good color, really good head. So, skull.
Okay. Well, it wasn't just the most standing ovation I've ever heard you give, but
Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm more of a deeper, darker dude. So, all right. So the agenda for this evening, we're going to get resolutions. Why do we do this to ourselves? What are those top three? That generally across the board, these are the top three that are made every year. Why do we make them? And how can we keep them? Right. So, those are sort of what we're going to try to be going through. So the idea, Craig, this whole thing with this is a tradition that's been going on for a long time, making a resolution, right? And it doesn't matter really what you're doing. It's just that whole idea of I've come to the new year and I'm going to do this. And a lot of it has to do with we're just trying to better ourselves.
Yep.
Make ourselves, look back and say, okay, maybe I did some things, a little squirrely or that I didn't want to do last year. I'm going to change that behavior going forward.
Well, I think the reason too is because everybody's looking for a reset. It's like kind of hitting the reset button, right? So on January 1st, I can hit the reset button. Doesn't matter what I did beforehand. Now it's what am I going to do going forward? So it's kind of a fresh start type approach. And, then hopefully what we do is pick, like you got 10 things on the board, at least there, a dozen. But how many do you pick a few that you can actually follow through on?
Well, yeah, and those are just the idea of resolutions, right? Because everything out there. But that's the thing is that's what I think that's one of the it's not in the tips, but we should certainly have that is that sometimes we spread ourselves too thin with this. We got 12, 15 things that we're trying to do, and we're just never going to be able to do them all. Or stay on top of all of them, should I say, right?
Well, you have quit smoking, you have quit drinking.
No, I've done that. I didn't give it up I've given it up for Lent on
Oh, you do have
drink
drink less here. I didn't see that.
See, drink less. There you go. See, but that's drink less water. That's not drink less.
We never quit. We just
that's not drink. That's drink less water. That's not drink less beer. Let's be crazy. Let's not
less water.
All right, so here we are, the top three, right? So the top three resolutions. Again, these are the ones every year. These come out when they do the surveys, do the asks, year over year over year. These are the top three that get put up on the board most often. These are the ones that people are trying to do. Number one, losing weight and getting in shape.
Yay!
Right now. I think there's a twofold to this one, right? So one, like you said, we're always looking for that reset. We're always looking to improve ourselves. We're always looking to make ourselves better. However, we spend the time between Thanksgiving and New Year, chowing. You got, holidays, holiday parties, celebrations. We're eating, we're drinking, and it's easy to get sort of carried away and put on a few extra pounds.
That's probably why this is such a big first of the year resolution.
Absolutely. There's the reason for it. I think that goes sort of hand in hand with why this one, because you sort of wake up on January 1st or January 2nd, depending on how much of a bender you've been on, and realize, oh, wait a minute, I can't keep doing this. I got to do so. I got to get myself in shape, which is why gym memberships shoot up in the beginning of January type of thing.
Absolutely. And I think this is a great one. I think it's a great one for a lot of reasons because it actually does a lot of the other ones you had on your board. So when you get yourself, when you feel better and you're in better shape and you're healthier, well, it costs you less money, right? Because you're not sick as much, you're not out of work and all those things. So
Yeah.
it saves you money in that respect. I think you also it improves your mood,
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely. A lot of that is exercise, being just feeling more physically able, physically active, definitely does, brings you up, right? You definitely have that.
Increases your energy level. So some of the other things you're trying to accomplish, now you've got the actual energy to do it.
Yeah.
And so it helps with focus. And going to something, like going to the gym and setting a routine for yourself, gets you to do a routine. And the only way you change behavior is to incorporate it as a habit,
Yes.
right?
Yes, absolutely. And we'll talk about that as the end when we talk about the steps and going through it.
But I
But
like this one. This is a good one. I like this one.
yeah, no, no, no. And I think, for a lot of people that it goes hand in hand with that. But, I think you checked off all of the boxes why somebody would do that or somebody brings that up. All right. So number two on our list, this is learn a new skill or hobby.
Well, that's always fun.
Yeah, and I think that part of this is really that whole, like you talked about, that mindset of I want to improve myself.
Mhm.
This is all improvement. This is all like, I wanted to do something last year. I didn't get to it. I'm going to do it this year. Whatever that is, whatever that skill set was, whatever it is, this is something I've always wanted to do. So this year I'm going to do it, or I'm going to learn how to do it, or I'm going to figure out, that I'm never going to be able to do it. Let's face it, there are certain skills you're just never going to be able to do.
Uh,
But go ahead.
I was gonna say this is another one I really like. I'm probably gonna like all of them, but this is another one I really like because if you're learning a new skill, especially if it's for work, well, you make yourself more useful, and once again can increase your value at work, and now that can lead to potentially more money or a promotion or make your job easier. So I like that. The other thing I like about it, is picking up a new hobby. Is hobbies are great for reducing stress, which once
Yes.
again improves your health, improves your attitude, all the other things we talked about similar to exercise. So this is another, and like I said, by learning more things, you make your brain healthier. You should
Right.
always be learning. Always.
Yeah, always be learning. It's a good mantra. It's a good adage. It's a good thing to be living by. So yeah, and I think that's why. I think that's why this comes up a lot on the list as one of those resolutions. This is something I'm going to do.
Mhm.
Number three here is saving money or improving my financial well-being. Right. And I think this goes hand in hand to us, with our whole mission and everything we talk about. But this is one, I think certainly it's always been there, but now specifically since coming out of or certainly going through the whole pandemic and COVID and everything, that I think it really put a spotlight on people to realize, wait, I need to have money set aside here because shit can go sideways very quickly and who knows, right?
God can, huh? Okay. So the big thing there is, once again, all these things lead back to the original, right? When you have your spending under control, right? Your spending habits and your saving habits under control, you tend to be less stressed.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, money stress, financial stress, that creeps up there. That is in the top, one or two on the category of things that stress people out or what they're dealing with today as far as stress is concerned.
Right. And with this one, it's a matter of trying to control your controllables, because a lot of things when it comes to money that you can't control, how much well, actually, a lot of them you can control, but maybe you're in a situation right now where you can't change your job or
Right.
you have certain bills that, you're dragging that you have to pay. But, you can look at how you spend your money, how you spend your time, whether, having that new skill propels you to a new job to make more money. So there's lots
Right.
of ways to look at those types of things where you can get some control on some of those controllables.
Yeah, but it's not only how you spend your money, but
Mm-hmm.
why you spend it.
Well,
Right? That's the biggest thing with us is like trying to figure out why. Why do I spend here? Why did I spend this? You know, and you know, we go through a whole thing on wants and needs. We'll probably do that later on in the year type. But I think for a lot of people, this is one of those, just like the, you know, it correlates, you know, like you mentioned, quite nicely to the whole I'm losing weight thing, because it's I'm trying to save because I want to be in a better position. And not, you know, it's not my overall health, but it's my financial health. I want to be financially healthy so I don't have to worry about that stuff.
Well, people who are financially healthy, statistically, are physically healthier because they can eat better food and they can get more, you know, they go to the doctors more often. They're not, you know, afraid to take care of themselves because they have the money to do it.
Right.
They're also less stressed about
Oh
it.
yeah, well, the less stress is that's a big, it's a health component to this whole thing. You know, because money is a stressor and has, especially now, you know, certainly in the last, you know, few years, money has become a major stressor for a lot of people, where it's just dragging, like you said, it just drags you down. And then the rest of you just starts to get dragged down with it.
Yeah, and some people, you know, they have the thought that if I was wealthy, then I wouldn't have this concern. Well, even wealthy people have issues with managing their money, right?
Yeah, that's not always the case. It's just as quick as it comes in, it goes out. I mean, that's, you know, you can make a ton of dough and still not have any of it around. That happens.
Bad spending habits, right?
Yes. All right, so those are the top three resolutions that everybody tends to make, you know. So then the question is, you know, why do we go through this? And I think we covered, you know, some of those check boxes in terms of, you know, why do we do this to ourselves? You know, I always say, it's for me, these are little promises I make to myself. If I instead of resolutions, that way I can break a promise. A resolution, I feel bad. I really feel bad about myself when I don't live up to the resolution, whatever that goal was I was trying to achieve.
Well, I think the other thing too with resolutions is you can make a bunch of them and then you just say, well, I just haven't gotten to it yet, but it's on my agenda.
It's on my to-do list.
I never really failed at it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So.
Yeah. But I mean, that might be it. And it's an interesting thing to go back and, you know, I don't know, you know, I've certainly never done it. And you know, maybe some people do go back and look at, well, you know, what did you put on for resolutions last year? Is it the same list, right? Are we doing the same thing? Are we repeating the same process all over again? You know, this whole thing. And don't say Einstein because he didn't say it. So it's okay. It's just, you know, he didn't, you know, doing the same thing all over again, expecting different results is the definition of insanity.
What I hear.
That's not it. That's not Einstein, though. Einstein did not say that, just so we're clear.
He did not say that.
No, it's attributed to him, but he did not say it. It's somebody else referenced it on stuff that Einstein was proposing, and then put those into the words. Just, you know, there's a little facts for you, little factoids in terms.
Someone gave him false credit for it.
Yes, you know, he's always been noted for that, and he actually did not say it.
Well, I remember what yours was last year. Yours was no more excuses.
No more excuses. I live by no more excuses. I try to do that.
That one, I hear.
Yeah. No. So no more. So just, you know, because Craig always makes fun of me with no more excuses. So the idea behind, so my thing with no more excuses is not so much, we all have excuses. There are going to be tons of them. And you know, what is that? I don't even know what the ad is for, but I think it's the betting app. But they say, well, you make a bet every 20 seconds, you know, you bet that the guy isn't going to run into you, that you're going to do this, you're going to do that, right?
Might as well make some money at it, right?
Yeah, we don't know, but that whole thing, we bet every single day, you know, you bet on this guy, you bet you picked up this hitchhiker. I think that's what that's for. But it's that same idea, like there's hundreds of excuses that we have that keep us from doing things every single day, right? We just keep this in our heads over and over. And the idea with no excuses is you're going to do it. It's going to happen. You're going to say, oh, I don't want to go to the gym today. I'm too tired. I'm too sore, whatever. I hurt this, I ache that, whatever the case may be. It's fine. You just need to like hold the mirror up and say, why am I doing that? Why am I saying it? Yeah, you know, what inside me is causing me to throw that up as an excuse, and can I get past it?
Yeah, I mean, excuses are your roadblock to change. Right. So if you want something to change, and you got to say, well, is, you know, the excuse worth not having what I want?
Right.
Words, I'm a little bit sore, but if I don't go to the gym, then I may not go tomorrow. I may not go to the next day, and I might not hit my goal. So is that excuse of being a little sore today just an excuse for not wanting to do it anymore? Or is it just, is that going to be the roadblock you're going to use to stop your
Right. And then am I going to use that tomorrow? Like you said, am I going to use it the day after and so on? And so it's just catching yourself every time you bring up, because sometimes, just like habits, as you discussed, the habit is something that we have to do over and over again. Excuses become habits. They start out as little crutches and then they become habits. And now we've told ourselves this lie over and over and over again. So now it's a believable thing for us. It's in our belief system. So now it's like, well, okay, that's what it's got to be. Instead of taking a step back and going, wait a minute, I'm just, I'm lying to myself here, or I'm making an excuse because I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to get up and go to the gym, that type of thing. So yes,
hurting yourself in the long run, though.
Yeah, and we all go through that, and I think that's part. And we'll talk in a little bit about ways to sort of deal with this and sort of resolve or absolve ourselves to get through all of this, right? So what are those steps, right? So one of the things, and we joke, we're from Boston, so the wicked smart thing, right? So being wicked smart. Anytime you're setting goals, because that's what resolutions are, they're goals, right? You want them to be smart. That means they're going to be specific, they're going to be measurable, they're going to be attainable, they're going to be relevant, and they're going to be time-based. So specific is, I can't say, hey, I want to lose weight, right? Because that's just who knows what that number is. Can I say, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds, right, this year?
Yeah.
Because that's something that's going to be achievable.
Yeah.
Is it relevant to me because I want to lose the 10 pounds, like we talked about? Maybe you want to make yourself feel better, feel lighter, be more active, whatever the case may be. It's in a year, so that's a time frame that I can do that. It's definitely achievable, attainable, right? Because that's the time frame that most people try to do it and say, I want to lose 10 pounds next week, and that's where it just blows up.
Yes, right. An unrealistic goal. Yes.
Have to have that. You have to have it so that it is specific. It is a number. It is something that can be measured, right? So that I can see, hey, that means I've got to lose. What does that break down to?
About a pound a month?
What well, in a quarter, I was thinking
3/4 of a pound a month.
2.5 pounds a quarter.
That would be true.
Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. See, I was like, I was looking for a quarterly basis, but yes, you're going up. So
pound a scale on a quarterly basis. Is that what you're telling me?
So go your way. It would be a pound a month, right? Can I lose a pound a month? There's my small steps to make the achievement, right? Can I lose a pound a month to do that, right?
2.5 pounds sounds like a just hit the right time when you get on the scale.
Oh, well, that can be, yes, right. But you got to do it at the same time every time, the same day.
Every
yes, right. You got to have a plan, right? So that's the other part of this. Is it's one thing to have the goal, but a goal without a plan is just a wish.
That's true.
So I've got to have a plan in place. How am I going to do this? Like you said, am I going to go to the gym 3 days a week or 5 days a week or whatever the case may be? Am I going to cut down on everything except for my beer and I am going to have to drink more water and that's less pretzels. There we go. Those type of things, right? So the goal goes along with the plan because you can't have a plan without the goal. Because that's what happens for most people is it's just like, I want to stop smoking. Well, okay, but when, how, what are you going to do for that? How are you going to wean yourself off, that type of thing? You want to learn a hobby, like Craig was talking about. The whole idea of a habit is, they tell you a habit is something that you've got to do, and you've got to do it for at least, a period of time for it to become this ongoing process. And I know they say it's like 21 days. But I'm telling you, it's more like, like 3 months, right? It's got to be built in where you're doing this every single day, that it's now rote for you.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing you want to do is have a purpose, right? Because that'll keep you moving long after the motivation stops.
Right.
Because everybody gets pumped up. Oh, I'm going to go back. It's going to be great. And then a week or
March comes and we're all done.
You go back to your old routines. Another big thing that helps here is if you can do this with a buddy or a partner or somebody who's already doing it.
Yes.
You know, somebody goes to the gym, they love going to the gym, you know they're going to be there and they're looking forward to seeing you. Well, that helps.
It's funny, it's one of the things that's not on the SMART list. It's accountability.
Right.
And that's what you're talking about, is accountability, right? Having somebody that you're sort of a buddy that you're doing it with, right? That you're trying to set the goal with, to somebody that you're voicing it to, right? Say, hey, this, you know, so that there is that accountability. Like, I'm gonna do this, and here's how I'm gonna do it. And look, and I'm gonna share that with you on my journey, so that when I don't want to get up tomorrow morning, you're gonna tell me that, you know, that, hey, this is what we're gonna do.
Right. You're going to learn a new skill, you know, say it's learning a language, go to a class with somebody or
Right.
take a class with someone so you learn it together.
All right, so be flexible, right? So here's one of the biggest things that happens in all of this is that we beat our, you know, we are probably the worst person talking to ourselves, that little voice, what is that with the kinks? Like the little green man in my head, right? So the little guy in your head, basically.
The 70s, the Kinks.
Yeah, no, I love the Kinks. The song's Paranoia. Right? Yes. Paranoia will destroy you. This little green man in my head. So anyway, yeah, with that, but there's a voice in my head the voice in my head is worse than anything that anyone else is going to tell me, right? We beat ourselves up. Mm-hmm. And really, that's the idea with this is it's okay, right, to actually not hit the marker. Don't get so wound up on that. Realize that, hey, I might have to make adjustments here, right? I like that. Mistakes are proof that you are trying, right? You're putting in the effort. If you're putting in the effort, you didn't fail, you tried.
That's right. Okay. I never fail. I'm just not done trying yet.
Yes, right. So you're still going through the process and understand that. And it's okay to look at it and say after a quarter, all right, well, wait a minute. I was trying to lose 40 pounds. Maybe I got to adjust that down and make it 30 pounds or make it, 20 pounds type of thing. Or, I was trying to learn the entire Italian language. Maybe I should only work on, certain words and, parts of that. Whatever the case may be, just understand it's a process. And we tend to get upset with ourselves and shut the door on the process when we fail.
Yeah, and you brought up a really good point about self-talk. Self-talk works in both directions. If you talk yourself down, then you can really bring yourself down. However, you can also intentionally talk yourself up. Change to a positive self-talk, even if you have to fake it in the beginning to get yourself moving. It's a very powerful tool that I've even used in sales. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And you convince yourself before you even get to something that this is the way it's going to work out. And it tends to go that way because you're already in that mindset. So,
yeah, that's visualization. Having visualization, having that as part of your overall process. This is how we talk a lot about that with the goal setting and having the visual tools. This is what I want to achieve. This is where I want to get, that type of thing. It is absolutely a powerful tool. And the other part to this, right, that celebrate those little milestones, that's helping you stay on track. Right. So like we talked about, if it's 10 pounds, hey, I get to the end of the quarter and I'm, and I've lost 3 pounds, I'm on track or I'm ahead of pace in terms of what I'm doing. Well, that's, then celebrate. Do something that you want to celebrate.
Well, my wife's a teacher, so if I do something good, I get a sticker.
There you go. You get a little star. So on the fridge, Craig did his things this week. He did your chores, so he gets his little star on the fridge.
I got a dinosaur sticker. Yay!
Right. So one of the things we say to everybody is, look, everybody is different. Everybody has different goals. Everybody has different mindsets. Everybody has different things they're trying to achieve. What we do here at Aries is try to help everybody have that sort of overall conversation with yourself, with us, right? We're here as the sounding board. We're here to sort of try to help you, sort of guide you through that, because we get clogged sometimes, like Craig said, in our own heads. And we can bring ourselves down faster than we ever realized. And so we make it available. We are available to have a complimentary consultation. There's no obligation for it. You can scan the QR code there. It's right on the screen. You can also see the Calendly link that's down below. That's what the QR code will take you to. It'll open up. It'll give you access to our calendar. You can book a time anytime that works for you. We're happy to answer questions in any way we can. And speaking of that, Craig, oh, wait, what's on tap?
Yeah, what's on tap?
I forgot. Look at that. See what's on tap. We keep the Think with a Drink going. So next week, we are going to do the top 5 questions about investing in a recession, because whether you realize it or not, we're headed into a recession, because even though nobody will tell you that, it certainly feels like we're in a recession right now. And, all the factors and everything say this is where we're headed, because the Fed's going to keep tightening and the stock market's going to keep going down. And, the next thing from there is job reduction and job tightening. And that's a recession when you boil it all down. On one
positive note on our new year.
Yes, a positive note. Yay. No.
It's all doom and gloom.
Not doom and gloom. 126, we're going to do traditional versus Roth IRA. Which makes more sense? Do I invest in the traditional? Do I invest in a Roth? What are the contribution limits? What are the limits to opening? Can anybody do this? How does that all work? We don't have 2/9 yet because that's February. We haven't really thought out to February yet. And I got to figure out Groundhog Day is what, 2/2?
Usually it's February 2nd, yes.
This should be 2/2 then. I messed that up. We would have a Groundhog. Oh, we're going to do Groundhog Day. That's easy. That's financial missteps again, right? So we'll do financial missteps on Groundhog Day. That's the repeating those same missteps over and over and over again.
It's going to feel like we're doing the same presentation we did last year.
See, look at that, just like that. Happy Groundhog Day. All right, Craig, any questions in the chat box?
I have no questions in the chat box at this time.
Okay, well, so if you ever do, you can visit the website. It's www.aresfoundation.org. You can email us with questions. It's info@aresfoundation.org, or schedule a time. You can just shoot that QR code right off the screen. That'll open our calendar, and we're happy to meet with you at any time. On that note, I am going to say good evening and have a great night.